You can't cook a meal. You can't wipe down a table. You can't do anything because a lot of women feel like this is oppressive. It's oppressive to have to go to work week after week after week. You telling me that being in your house and taking care of it is oppressive? What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another new podcast. Back again, so that must means I have some more ridiculous clips for you guys. And yes, they are ridiculous. The first one that we have today is going to be taken from the Trick Daddy podcast. I Got My Pots, and it's featuring Lisa Raye on this episode. And they get into a conversation about men and women relationships and should men pay all of the bills. So we're going to take a look and see what she has to say about that. Do you agree, disagree? We'll find out together. And the other clip, it's a young lady that is pretty much demanding a man do everything for her. And we're going to see about that, and we're going to see just how ridiculous that is. So let's get right into it. Before we do, I'm going to give you a second to subscribe to the channel. So go ahead, hit that button. And also, go ahead, hit that like button so I know that you're enjoying the content. But let's get right into it.
I feel like a woman and a man should not be together or stay together if the woman ain't being the woman. Okay. Because a man could be a man or you really a woman is what am I saying. But I think the man is supposed to pay the bulk of the bills, take the bulk of the responsibility, and the women is supposed to make sure that man is happy, able to go out there and get that money and come home and take care of his family. Well, you threw me off when
you said the bulk of the bills.
I mean, like the mortgage, the shit you pay.
I mean, he paying the bills is what I'm saying.
Well, you gotta get something, Lisa Raye. You gotta get the light bill.
Giving him ass. What do you mean?
The water, but he giving you dick.
Do you see the absolute disdain and disgust that Lisa Raye had on her face at the mere mention that she should pay so much as a light bill? The lights that she's enjoying, by the way, that's crazy. But here's the crazier part is that she thinks that all she has to do is give ass in return and she should be rewarded with all of these benefits.
You'd be making a lot more money than what you're making up in here if you would just use what you got to get what you want and stop messing with this chump chanting.
She should be unburdened and unbridled with the stress of having to go to work. Now, she may keep her job, which a lot of women do, but she doesn't have to go. And it hits different when you're forced to wake up every day 5 times a week and go to a job because your survival is dependent on you getting up and doing that, as opposed to just going because you want something to do, you like what you do and you want to make money, but your survival is out of your hands now because you have a man that's going to pay all of the bills. He is a come up for you. He is doing a lot to benefit your life. So what are you going to do in return to benefit his life? Tell him that. That's what a lot of men are asking. And that's where that question, what do you bring to the table, comes from. A lot of women demanding that they get all of this special princess treatment, but in return are offering absolutely nothing. And that's not working for men anymore because they are tired of being taken through the ringer and having all of their resources taken from them when they really didn't benefit anyway.
If he wanted to, he would. Hear me out. I went on a date with a guy last week and it was a good date. We had a fun time together. He's a big-time lawyer. He owns 3 to 4 cars. He's doing really well in life. You guys know I'm a model.
A model? Model what? Because the only thing I see you on the cover of is National Geographic.
I'm new to the city, transplant, don't even have a car yet, like still building up my life out here. Regardless, I expect my date to either pick me up or Uber me to the date. That is just my standard. The first date, he was a perfect gentleman. He picked me up and everything. He calls me today for a second date. He wants to go golfing. I said, great. What time are you picking me up? He's like, well, it's out of the way to pick you up. I just recommend you Uber to me and then we can go on our date. And then I wasn't sure if he meant me Uber myself or him Uber me. So I hung up and I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm excited for Saturday, but just to clarify. He calls me up and he's like, can you clarify your text message? And I said, I was wondering what you meant by the Uber. Were you going to call me an Uber, or did you want me to call an Uber for myself? And he said, I recommend you call an Uber for yourself. And I said, oh, well, you know, since this is a date, I prefer you to Uber me, or you can pick me up. And he's like, oh, well, I think you could just do it yourself. And my thing is, yes, I can do it myself, but you're asking me on a date. I expect to be taken care of. Pick me up or call me an Uber. The notion that it's too far or too out of the way for the date, it's an inconvenience for me because now I have to pay for part of this date. I have a problem with that.
See, this is why the dating world is so messed up. In comparison to that attorney, this chick is basically a bum. She has nothing. She's a so-called model who just moved to a new town but doesn't have a car, which means you didn't have a car in the old town, which means you couldn't get a car because of your modeling. But let's put that aside. You had a man that had all the resources that you desire. He's a big time attorney. You said he had 3 cars. I'm pretty sure he has a nice house. And for that, you weren't even willing to invest in Uber ride to go see him. Maybe he was just trying to see where your interest level was. Maybe he's trying to see if you would invest anything into the date before he opens up to you. You think that he's not going to be able to repay you for that Uber ride 1,000,000 times over with what he can do for you, the experiences that he can give to you, and you missed out on that because you didn't want to take an Uber for a date that you wanted to be on for a guy that you said that you had a good time being out with. That's why the dating world is so messed up, because the lack of effort from some women.
And when I think about it, you guys, like some women, my sister, for example, she won't even pay for an ice cream at the end of the date. And she's been dating her guy for a couple years now, but even the first few months of their dating, she refused to pay for anything. She didn't pay for anything. He was like, can't you just pay for an ice cream after dinner? And she's like, no. And guess what? She moves in with this man. They've been together for 3 years, about to get married. He picked that girl. He didn't pick the girl that was like trying to be nice and pay for her own Uber and pay for her own meal. No, he picked the girl that refused to pay for shit, refused to pay for anything for his ass, and he is in love. He's about to put a ring on it. He pays all the bills. They live together. He pays for everything. And yet, when they first started dating, he tried to play her. He was like, oh, can you just pay for this? No, I'm not paying for anything. Take it or leave it. He took it. So if he wanted to, ladies, he would. Okay, keep your standards high. That's all I gotta say.
See, and this is what a lot of modern women do. They take that one-off example of a man doing something that most men would not do, and they use that as a basis on what they can get in the future. Sure, you can get that, but is it likely that you'll get that? A man that has any kind of self-respect and boundaries for himself is not gonna put up with that. If he looks at you and says, hey, look, I'm footing everything. Can you not do something so small as pay for some ice cream? A real man that has set that boundary for himself is not going to accept that. He's going to leave. He's not going to take it. He's going to take his resources and go somewhere else to somebody that appreciates it. That's the word right there. There's no appreciation for what a man does, for the work that it takes for him to provide you those things. Where's the gratitude? Where's the appreciation? Where's thank you, honey, for doing something that you didn't have to do for me? This take it or leave it attitude is fucking everybody up. Well, not everybody.
You live with your man and you're not paying no bills and that house isn't clean, you need to go. You need to leave. He already obviously isn't an organized person if the house is messy anyways, and he's already paying the bills, so make yourself useful. Yeah, make yourself useful and organize all his shit. All of it, from top to bottom, every drawer. It'll take you one day if you really dedicate your time, depending on the size of the house. Clean that shit up, bro. You're not paying no bills, you're just chilling. That is my dream. I'm tired of paying bills. And y'all be living with your boyfriend, not paying nothing. Nothing at all. Bitches like me paying everything.
You see, she understands that, yo, you chilling all day long. You mean to tell me you can't do anything? If you not paying bills, if you don't have any place to be Monday through Friday, what the fuck are you doing when you're sitting around the house? You can't cook a meal, you can't wipe down a table, you can't do anything because a lot of women feel like this is oppressive. It's oppressive to have to go to work week after week after week. You telling me that being in your house and taking care of it is oppressive? Hell no, that's bullshit. You're just lazy. And that's the problem. We have a lot of lazy women out there that don't want to do anything in their relationships, don't want to take on the role that is laid out for them, but they want to put that role on a man and say, no, you are supposed to do this. This is what real men do. Real women just sit back and have everything catered to them. Bullshit, and men are not taking that anymore. And that's why spaces like this exist and they're so important. But that's gonna be it. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments below. And until another time, I'll see you guys later.